Am I the idiot for not wanting to contact my son after she was the one who abandoned me? And buckle up because this story takes a crazy turn at the end. I, female 45, have a son from my previous marriage. I got pregnant way too young at the age of 20 from my high school sweetheart, David, 45M. We got married at the age of 22 after we graduated college. David was rich, he didn't want me to work, so I was just a housewife. My son was the apple of my eye. I gave everything to him. He was my world. He and I were really close, and I never had a doubt in my mind that I would not be alone in this world as long as I have him. That is until 10 years ago, I found out that my husband was cheating on me with a young colleague of his. And what is worse is that my 15-year-old son knew about it. He hid the affair from me. Imagine how broken I was. I was betrayed by two people I care most about in this world. I asked him why he did that. Why did he hurt me? His response was that his dad told him not to. He bought him gifts to keep his mouth shut. And having a young stepmom made him popular amongst kids. I was totally blindsided when I learned my husband took my little boy to meet that woman. They made excuses that they went on a ski trip and they took his mistress with them. I felt like a fool at that time. In the divorce ruling, my son chose my ex over me. I was heartbroken. My son didn't even want to visit me after it was all done. I even tried to reach out to him once he turned 18. But he just refused. At that point I gave up and went on with my life. I would still get sad over the years wondering how he was doing. I did move on and met someone who is a single father of 2 girls. I married him, and a few days after our wedding I got pregnant again. The pregnancy was a nightmare. I wanted to meet my son and tell him he is going to be a brother to a baby girl. The labor was painful. I almost died on the spot after giving birth to my daughter. I still wanted to meet my son. But I knew he did not want to see me, so I just gave up the idea. Over the years, the memories of him just became vague as I immersed myself into my new family. A week ago, I got a series of messages from him on my Facebook. He said that he missed me a lot and wants to meet up with me. It took me by surprise. Over the last 10 years he has not contacted me. Now he wants to see me? Why? I have been going over every possible reason. The worst part is that I do not feel excited about it. As a mother I know I should be over the moon, but I am not. My parents and husband know that. They have been pushing me to meet him. They say I need closure, after all he is my son. But I don't know if I want to relive the same trauma, so am I wrong? Edit, I am sorry for the mistake in my title. I wrote she instead of he. Edit, wow, I never thought it would get this amount of response. But thanks. I will give an official update on this. But now I am in conflict. If I do meet him, I won't call him to my house. Maybe a public place. I am not sure if he wants something, but I will be cautious of that. Another edit, thank you guys for all the support. I decided to meet him today, but I am taking my husband with me. He will not be with us, but he will watch us from a distance. For those of you who called me a neglectful mother who never tried to reach out to him, well, I hope you never have to experience what it's like to be rejected and lied to by your own boy. I know a lot of you will justify it by saying he was only 15, but a betrayal is still a betrayal. But yeah, I will be keeping my distance. Now for a few comments before the update. You are not wrong for being hesitant. Opening yourself up to the possibility of being betrayed again has to be scary. You seem to be in a good place in your life now. Only you can decide the best course forward. The people who love you are pushing for this reunion because they likely think that a mother having their child in their life is always the best course. However, sometimes regardless of blood relation, certain people are not good for you. It will be hard for others to understand because they didn't experience your heartbreak. There is no right or wrong decision. Do what is best for your mental health. You could even decide to pause on a decision and tell him you need more time. I'm saddened that you experienced this level of pain. I wish you well. Then the original poster responded with, I am inclined more towards not going, but I have yet to make a final decision. Comment 2. I have to bet the dad had been poisoning him against you, and now he has realized such and wants to make his own decisions. Not the idiot. I get why you feel the way you do. I have just been in his shoes before, so it's worth a shot to give him a shot. Then the original poster responded with, could be. I tried to reach out to him and tell him that his dad must be poisoning him. But he didn't listen. I just gave up waiting. Now for the update. A lot of you have been requesting me for an update. I finally met my son after so many years. He was not a boy anymore. He was a man. He looked taller than I remember. So anyways, I will give an update. I read your comments. Some of you gave me some good suggestions. I prepared myself for any possible outcome. He could be there to meet me and tell me about his life, or maybe reconcile. Or maybe he wants something. Regardless of what it is, I am keeping my guards up. I asked him to meet me in a public park. I asked my husband to be somewhere near so he could see me. My son came 5 minutes after I arrived. He was all grown up. I won't lie, I wanted to cry at that spot but held my composure. He said hi to me and I smiled. I commented that he has grown up and looks really nice. He just nodded. We sat down and it was silent. I was expecting him to say something at first, but I finally asked what he was up to these days. He told me he is doing fine. He just finished college and is going to apply for grad school. I said that is great. Then it was awkward silence again. He broke the silence and said, "You must be wondering why I contacted you." I replied, "For 10 years you haven't tried to contact me, but why now? I cannot help but wonder why you are trying to contact me when you told me years ago you don't want me near you because I embarrass you." His face got serious and he said, "I know that, but I need something from you. A lot of you suggested he must be here to ask me for money. Well, you guys were right. He asked me for money and the amount was 20K. He said he needed the money because he wants to go to law school and his father can't afford it because he lost a lot of his money a few years ago due to a loss on his business, and his company was bankrupt. He also had 3 more kids with his mistress wife. That's why they do not have money for him to go to grad school." It just sank my heart. After 10 years I was finally meeting him. I was hoping that we could reconcile and he would understand what I have been through, or maybe my husband was lying to him. But no, he just wants money from me. I told him I cannot give him money, not such a huge amount. He got defensive and kept saying why not. And then he asked, "Is this about Dad's affair? Geez, when will you get over it?" I asked him, "Why do you hate me? What have I done to deserve your hatred? Have I ever raised my voice? Have I ever hit you or said no to you? Then why? You always pushed me away when I tried to get closer to you. Why and what did I do to deserve it?" He took a deep breath and said, "You don't understand, Mom. You really expected me to come with you? You had nothing. At least my dad could afford the lifestyle I wanted and my friends actually liked Carla, his stepmom. Everything was fine until you discovered his affair and my deal with Dad. I get it, you didn't hit me or scold me, but you were not able to afford the life I wanted." I asked him if he really thinks his father's affair was actually the best way for any of us. I sacrificed a lot for him, and yet he chose someone who he only met when he was 14. He said he doesn't want to talk about that because it was so many years ago and I should just drop it. I asked him why didn't he ever try to visit me. I even asked if it was his dad who tried to stop him, or any other reason, or is it something I did. I tried to reach out to him multiple times, but he never answered or tried to be there. I gave him space because I thought he was coping with the divorce too. He yelled at me that I was really annoying. His dad didn't stop him. It was he who didn't want to meet me because I lived in a small apartment with only 2 bedrooms. He hated living in a place like that. And he ignored me on his 18th birthday because the gift I had for him was pretty cheap and stale compared to what his dad and other people gave him. I agree. My gift was a box of his favorite cookies and an old vintage watch. I was struggling a lot at that time, so I couldn't afford to buy him expensive stuff. But does that mean he should have ignored me like that? I had enough of it. I told him strictly that I will not be giving him money. I have spent years wondering where he is and how he is doing. He is still very disrespectful towards me. Throughout our whole conversation, he didn't even ask how I was. He just went straight to money. I was here hoping that we could move on. He had no idea how much of a mess I was when I learned the man I loved so much would betray me, and then my own son would lie to me for him. I thought we had a special bond. My head has been going through a lot of conclusions. Maybe his dad was lying to him about me. Maybe he was mad about something I did. But now I have the picture. I do not want to be his ATM. I wanted to be his mother even when he rejected me. I'm tired of feeling rejected and getting mistreated and taken for granted. He kept saying and getting even more defensive that I cannot do this to him. I am ruining his life. I told him no, I cannot trust him to give so much money. He told me to cut the BS because he knew I have money now, I could easily give him some. I told him no again and again. He at one point stood up and blamed me and screaming that I am ruining his life, that I owe it to him. I called my husband and he rushed towards me to keep my son away from me. I know now I should have trusted my instincts. I cried a lot when I came home. I lost him forever. I know a lot of you will call me a bad mother. You will call me a narcissist. But I am sorry. I have spent a lot of time in therapy to get over the pain of losing my husband and son. I cannot have him in my life only to be used as an ATM. Even if I gave him the money, there is no guarantee that after getting the money he will not ghost me or push me away, and then when the money runs out he will come to me again to ask for more. I cannot go through the similar pain. I may be able to forgive him for what he said to me, but I don't think I will ever forget what he said. He hated me because I had no money. I would have been fine with weekly visits from him, but he never even wanted that. Additionally, I discovered during our conversation that he was the first one to find out that my husband was having an affair, and he asked his dad to buy him a new phone in exchange for not telling me. I lost. That's all I have as an update. I am sorry if there were any mistakes. It is hard to write and form sentences and put all of it in a few words. And no, his birthday was not the only time I reached out like many of you assumed. I tried to reach out to him before that many times. He said he didn't want to or had other excuses. I respected his decision and didn't bother him much. I finally gave up trying when he was 18, but I still checked his social media for quite a while until I gave that up too. Edit. Thank you so much for all the support. I am by no means a perfect mom, but I tried my best. Also, as much as I am hurt by his actions that day, I still hope he learns some adult responsibilities and becomes a more mature person. With that being said, I hardly think I have energy to consider reconciling in future even if he comes and says sorry. It was already too much for me to be there yesterday just to be humiliated again. Comment 1. Your son is deranged. Comment 2. Honestly, you're absolutely the idiot here. Here's the thing, your son was a teenager in a difficult situation. Instead of understanding that and reaching out more, you chose to cut ties and replace him with a new family. You are his mother, you should have tried harder, should have fought for him, even when he was a brat. How do you think a 15-year-old child is supposed to handle such adult situations? He was manipulated by his father, and instead of taking care of him and providing a loving environment, you opted out. And now, he's reaching out to you for help, but instead of seizing the opportunity to rebuild a bond, you're rejecting him because he only wants money. Education is essential, money isn't. He's struggling to get an education, that's why he asked for help. Maybe this could have been a chance for you two to start anew. He's still your son. Comment 3. Oh my God. OP, I am so sorry. If anyone thinks you're a bad mother, they're out of their minds. Clearly your ex made his mark on your son. I'm glad you won't be tortured by the what ifs. But I'm so sorry it ended up this way. Hug your family tight. They'll be with you through this. Sending you hugs? Comment 4. Your son is a terrible and shallow person. You are not a bad mother, you are literally the opposite. You didn't lose your son. You lost someone who didn't care about you, and only cared about what was best for him. He lost someone who truly loved him. I am so sorry you had to go through this pain. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.